Before we get started on this video, I just want to say a huge thank you for the support I've been getting on this channel. It means a lot to me, and I honestly didn't expect it, seeing this much results so soon. I'm currently on 100 subscribers, so yeah, I really appreciate it. If you subscribed or commented or liked, that's absolutely awesome. I really appreciate it. This video is just my opinion as well, so feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. There will also be spoilers in this video just in case you haven't played the game yet. Again, thanks a lot, and let's get started. The day is April 28th, 2023. I've got time off work and I'm setting up to play Jedi Survivor for the first time. I've got a giant bowl full of crisp chocolate bars, chewy sweet. I've got a bottle of Coke. I've got a box of Monsters. It was safe to say I was ready. I was so excited for this game. I had full faith it was going to be great from my experience playing Jedi Fallen Order. So I sat there, I ate my food, played the game, and I beat the story, and well, it was a blast. Jedi Survivor was bigger than Fallen Order in every way. When I played the game for the first time, making my setup quite enjoyable and playing it all at once, it was like I was in the honeymoon phase of the game, where I couldn't see its flaws since I had such a good time playing it. Its story, its customization, its lightsaber stances, its planets, everything was dialed up to a 10. But as the saying goes, bigger is not always better. I feel I do need to include a section about performance, as it was part of the game's launch and affected a lot of players. When Jedi Survivor released, it was a bit buggy to say the least. There were a lot of performance issues, especially on PC. It was enough for the developers of Jedi Survivor to issue an apology, stating in the post that we are aware Star Wars Jedi Survivor isn't performing to our standards. Also, a little side note, is anyone else sick of these posts by developers? Like, I appreciate that they are aware of the issues of their game, but so many of them just feel so dishonest. In my opinion, games should just release complete, or at least mostly bug-free. I know that's such a crazy opinion to have, but anyways, let's continue. So in terms of the bugs I experienced on day one, honestly it was not too bad. I played on the Xbox Series S and I did have some performance issues, but my only real annoyance was that when I had just beat a boss and during the cutscene after it crashed, so I had to fight the boss again, which was a wee bit annoying, but it didn't bother me that much. So in terms of how buggy the game was, it personally wasn't much of an issue for me, but I do see how it could have been for others. I mean, I heard it was so much worse on PC, but obviously I didn't really play on PC, so I can't really add anything onto that. I'm just saying that I'm aware of it because it obviously did launch like it did. Jedi Survivor's gameplay builds off the first one in a lot of ways. Cal is no longer a Padawan, and all the skills learned in the first game carry over. On top of that, Cal has two new stances for his lightsaber, those being the single-bladed lightsaber with a blaster, and the other being dual wielding, with some added depth to the double-bladed lightsaber and the single blade Cal had in the first game. So now Cal has 4 stances to choose from. In Jedi Survivor, the game has 4 planets, them being Kobo, Coruscant, the Shattered Moon, and Jeddah, with 2 additional smaller planets, those being Tanlor and Nova Garen, although sadly there isn't much to do on them too, since they are a lot smaller. However, Kobo is kind of the main planet, being the biggest and having a diverse set of biomes which help keep the planet being fresh. Kobo has the downed separatist ship you get to explore, then there's the station in the sky which is really cool as well. Kobo also acts as a hub for your character, as there is a town there with a saloon with plenty of activities like side quests, bounty hunting, and a whole garden rooftop to fill up with plants. I like the saloon quite a lot, but the garden rooftop I didn't bother with, to be honest. It just felt like a giant part of the game I didn't have time for. Although there are side quests, bounty hunting, and old Jedi temples to discover on Jeddah, and a little on Coruscant as well, it's mostly compacted to the one planet Kobo. There are all sorts of enemies to fight in this game, some being the local fauna, the Empire with some new additions like jet troopers, riot troopers with shields, and some new droid death troopers with some variations as well. On top of that, there is a whole separatist army taken over by the Bedouin Raiders, another unique fighting force Cal has to face. There are also some super battle droids and B1 battle droids. There's also commando droids as well, and even some droidicas. So obviously you have your boss battles in this game as well, which are all great for the most part, except for a particular frog and his cousin. Raisin was especially fun to face for me personally, since his fight had 2 phases. The fights felt personally well balanced. There's one fight where obviously you're playing as another character, it's kind of a spoiler, but but I think since you're playing as the other character, it helps balance the fight a bit more. But yeah, most of the boss fights in Jedi Survivor, they felt very well balanced. I didn't feel like it was super unfair or whatever, and I know you can change the difficulty, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, I played it first time on Jedi Master, and I never felt like I was fighting a boss where it was just completely unfair or just didn't stand a chance. Apart from the frog and his friend are a bit of an issue, but that's like a secret side thing, whatever, so whatever, it can have a pass. So the story of Jedi Survivor is of a grand scale, especially when compared to the First Order. I won't go over everything in the story in this video because I know it'd end up being like 30 or 40 minutes long, but I'm just going to go over it briefly. The game takes place 5 years after the events of Fallen Order. Cal Kestis, now a more mature Jedi Knight, is fighting with a small group of allies against the Galactic Empire. The story begins with Cal infiltrating an Imperial Senator's yacht to retrieve some military intel, though what him and his team finds is a hard to swallow pill. After everything they've done, they still haven't even made a dent in the Empire, and it's only grown stronger. Cal and his team's mission takes a bad turn when his team is wiped out by the Ninth Sister and Inquisitorious troopers, except for Cal and his new ally, Bode Akuna. Cal defeats the Ninth Sister by execution, in his words, setting her free. Cal and Bode both escaped to Kobo. Cal gave Bode a transponder so he can find him afterwards. The reason Cal heads to Kobo is to repair the Mantis with his past owner and friend Grease, being the guy to fix it up and who's residing on that planet. Cal encounters the Bedlam Raiders and their Gendai leader Ravis. Along the way, he discovers a Jedi temple and a droid named Z from the High Republic era, which provides information about a planet called Tanalorr, a planet kept secret from the Empire and could be a safe haven for all those who stand against it. It's here Cal also meets Dagan Gera, a former Jedi frozen in time from the High Republic, who has become obsessed with Tanalorr and is willing to kill his fellow Jedi to achieve his goal. Cal struggles with the burden of being a Jedi survivor, the people he lost and the weight of his responsibilities. Bent on searching for Tanalorr, Cal reunites with Cere, Merrin and Eno Cordova, the Jedi who guided him in the first game. Cal and his allies find the 3 keys needed to navigate the Kobo Abyss and reach Tanalorr. Cal learns of the hidden path and Cere's operation on recovering and rebuilding the Jedi Archive on Jedha. It's on Jedha Cal and Merrin develop a more romantic relationship, and it's clear they have feelings for each other. After defeating Ravis, Dagan's loyal servant, Cal confronts Dagan Gera at the Kobo Observatory in the sky for the final key to Tanalorr. During the fight with Dagan Gera, Cal lightly taps into the dark side by copying Dagan's force hallucination technique to beat him. After retrieving the final key, Cal heads back to Jedha to ask Eno Cordova to repair the compass so that Tanalorr may be reached. It's here that a heartbreaking betrayal happens by the hands of Bode, as like Dagan he wants Tanalorr to himself and his daughter. He sees that Cal is risking the location of Tanalorr by letting other people set up base on the planet, and decides to steal the compass, killing Eno Cordova in the process. Bode also gave up the location of the Jedi Archive, so the Empire attacks the base on Jedha, making it his time to escape. Shortly after, Darth Vader arrives on the scene and defeats Cere, and the Jedi Archive is lost to the Empire. Cal, Grease and Merrin are shocked as to what has happened, and discover Bode left the transponder on and track him down to an ISB Imperial base in the Nova Garen system. It's here Cal learns Bode was an agent of the Empire this whole time, on top of being a past Jedi that also survived Order 66 like Cal. They have a tense moment with his daughter in the room. Bode escapes and Cal gives into his dark side briefly, unleashing a fury that wipes out anyone in his path. Bode escapes to Tanalorr only to find Cal and Merrin tracked him down with another compass they had discovered from before. They give Bode the chance to stand down, but at last he has been consumed with protecting his daughter that he cannot see reason. He is defeated by Cal and Merrin after a hard fight, and Tanalorr is safe in their hands. So overall, I really like Jedi Survivor, but I do have a few gripes with the game. Trying to do a completionist run on this game is a nightmare. I know Jedi Fallen Order wasn't great for a completionist either, but I feel like this just makes it so much worse since the game is so much bigger, because there's so much more to do and it's so much more, I don't want to say complicated, but there's so much layers to it that it makes the game longer. Not necessarily out of fun, just because there's a bigger game it takes longer to do, and I don't really feel like it's fun just because it's bigger, if that makes sense. There are a lot of chests or force echoes that are locked behind annoying puzzles, and I never felt any good reason to explore the Jedi temples or most of the side quests. While I do love the stances, I always feel like I'm using the wrong one at the wrong time. I think they're more situational, but I might have preferred them not being, or being able to swap all 4 at once instead of 2 at a time. I loved seeing Coruscant. I mean, we haven't seen it in ages apart from maybe in some LEGO games, but I'm not even sure because I haven't even played any of them. But it was so nice seeing it. It was so good seeing it. I remember seeing it in the trailer for the first time and just being filled with joy because it's been so long since we've seen it. I mean, we all wanted it in Battlefront 2, but we never got it. But it was so cool being able to witness it in this game. But my problem with Coruscant is I wish it was bigger. I mean, it's barely even a planet, let's be honest. I mean, it's kind of just mainly like a corridor, but I mean, it's still great. It still looks awesome. I still loved it, but I do wish it was bigger. I know it's not an easy thing to do. Koboh and Jeddah are also quite similar. They're both sand-like planets. Of course, they have their differences, but I personally would have rathered smaller planets akin to the first game, but more of them. I also didn't like how Darth Vader was handled in this game. He shouldn't have struggled so much against Seer in my opinion, and it was a bit of a shame for me personally. The story, I prefer over Fallen Orders, but I feel it does drag out a wee bit near the end, and it doesn't help most of it takes place on Koboh. So overall, I really wanted to love Jedi Survivor. I had a great experience on launch and loved the story, but I find it hard to get into or feel motivated to play, whereas I've completed Fallen Order about 3 or 4 times. Again, this is all subjective and just my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to say exactly what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Again, huge thank you to anybody who made it this far, or liked, subscribed, commented. It means a lot to me. Thank you for the support, and I will catch you in the next one.